Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Most. In this series of tutorials, I'm going to teach you how you can create a React application, and I'm going to also teach you all the basics that you need in order to start creating complicated React applications. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video like this. And also check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. And let's get started. The first thing that you need to know about React is that React is a JavaScript library, and it's used to create a single web page application, and it has many features. One of them is that it loads the page much faster than a normal JavaScript project. And by the way, React is being used and being managed by Facebook. The community of React is increasing each single day. The number of jobs is increasing, and there are now many jobs as React developers. So it's a great opportunity to start learning React. And in this series, I'm going to show you how you can start your path in React. So first of all, in order to create a React application, obviously you need to install React. And in order to install React, you have two ways, either by going to reactjs.org and then click on Get Started, and then scroll and then click on here. Click on this link, simple HTML page with script tags. And this is going to give you a simple guide. You don't have to read all of this. All you need to do is that you need to copy these codes here and also here and add them in your HTML page and start coding. Just start coding by just adding this starter code, and it will create a simple React component. The other way is by using Node.js, and I find it better because all you need to do is to type one command and it's gonna install React and do everything for you. So first of all, you need to, if you are going to use this method, you need to obviously install Node.js on your Mac or PC or Windows. Click on here on this version and it's gonna start downloading Node.js. I already have Node.js installed, so I'm gonna here cancel. And after you download Node, just open it and install it on your system. It's self-explanatory, nothing difficult here. All you need to do is to click on a few of next buttons and it's going to install Node for you. Next, you need to open your terminal if you are using Mac, if you are using Windows, and then the first thing that you need to do is that you need to go to the location where you want to create your application. So I'm going to create my application on my desktop. Therefore, I'm going to cd to desktop and then type the following command: npm init and then react-app and then the name of your application. I'm going to name it my app, my-app. And then hit enter, and this is going to start installing and creating your application for you, and it's gonna take some time, probably 3 to 5 minutes, so be patient. So I'm gonna pause until it's finished, and I'm gonna come back once it's done. So once it's done, you will find that on my desktop there is the project, as you can see, my-app. We need now to open it in IDE, in a text editor or IDE. I'm using Visual Studio Code, therefore I'm going to open it in Visual Studio Code. So to open your project in Visual Studio Code, just drag your project, your folder, and drop it in Visual Studio Code, and it's going to open it. And as you can see, this is our React project. Let me now walk you through the most important folders. First of all, we have the node_modules, which contains node modules. And you will not work with it. You will not add any code by yourself here, so don't worry too much about this folder. The second folder is the public, which contains images and index.html, which is the main HTML that gets displayed in the browser once we run our application. So this is very, very important. This file is very important. Then we have the source. The source contains the JavaScript and CSS files that we need to create React components and React code. So this is the main structure of our project. Let me now run our project in the browser so that you can see what's happening and the starter code. So I'm going to open my terminal in Visual Studio Code and I'm going to type the following: npm and then start and then hit enter, and this is going to start a local server and run our application, our React application in that local server. So as you can see here, it says compiled successfully and it's running on this URL. You can copy it, or if it doesn't open automatically, you need to copy it and paste it in the browser. And as you can see now, I have this. This is our project being deployed to our local server, and this is the main page that we have. So this is the starter code for a React application. So now that we have a basic understanding of a React application, let me walk you through the most important things and also show you how components work. So here in the index.html, you'll find that we have a div, and this div has an ID of root. And this div is going to be the main div that's going to be used to inject our React component or components into that div that will be displayed in the browser. As you can see here in the browser, I'm running my local server. We have this page. And this page actually doesn't just represent this div. It represents components that React has created for us. And I'm going to show you where this component is. If you open your app, if you open first your index.js, you'll find that here we have React DOM.render, and then we have here app. Forget about React strict mode. You need to think about this app. This app actually renders this page. It provides this page and displays this page. But where is these components? Where are the image, this image, and this text? I can't see them here. Where are they? Well, this app represents what's called a component. So this app represents a file here called app.js. As you can see, if you open the app.js, there is a function called app. It has exactly the same as the name of the file, function app, and this app function returns this HTML code which displays this page. As you can see, here we have edit source /app.js and save to reload, and here in the app.js in the HTML code we have edit source app.js and save to reload. So those tags are these tags, these tags display this page. And how does React inject these elements or these tags inside the HTML? It actually uses the document.getElementById root, and it injects this app, and this app represents and includes all of these tags. So it takes all of these tags and it injects them or passes them to the element that has an ID of root, which is this index.html dev. As you can see, dev root, it passed the code here. So this is a basic React application. It uses what's called a React component, and a React component will be passed using the document.getElementById root to the element that has the root, that has an ID of root. So now that we have a basic understanding of a React application, let's now create our first component. But before I create any components, you need to know that A React application is nothing but a group of components. So in a typical web application, you will have maybe a header, a footer, images, videos, maybe a sidebar. All of these elements can be represented by a component. And let's create our first component. For example, suppose that you want to create a button. In order to create a button component, you need to open your source. And in the source, you can create a new file, and then you need to name it the something meaningful. So a button component can be named my button or button. I'm going to name it button.js. And then in the button.js, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy the code from the app.js. I'm going to copy the complete code. And in the button.js, I'm going to paste the code. And I'm going to change what needs to be changed. Obviously, the name of the function must match the name of the file. So the name of the file is button.js. The function must be named button.js. And in the button, we need to export default button. Button, not app. We need to export the function that we have created here. And what we need to do here is that we need to remove all of this HTML code, because here we aren't going to return this page. Instead, we are going to return a button, because this is a button component. So in this div, I'm going to create a simple button element, simple button HTML tag here, and I'm going to say custom button, and that's it. Now we have created a component. But if you go to the browser, nothing will be displayed here. No button will be displayed here. Why? Because we have created the component, but we did not tell React to display this component. How can we tell React to display this component? Well, in the index.js, instead of displaying the app, we can remove this app and display the button, and that's it. But still, this is not going to work. If you go to the browser, nothing will be displayed. Why? Because we need to import the button class, the button file here. Import button from this directory, and then button, without the extension, without .js, only button. And JavaScript will automatically know that it's .js. Now if I save and go to the browser, guess what? The difference is that the button will be displayed. As you can see, got custom button. So this is how you can create your first component in React. And by the way, components, as I told you earlier, work together. So you can have this button component inside the app component. So if you remove the button from here and display the app, if you display the app again, you can display the button inside the app itself. So here, just below this A tag, I'm gonna here display the button component, and of course I'm gonna import it here. Import button from the same directory, and then button. This is going to take the button and display it inside the app component. Now in the browser, you should find that we have here a button. As you can see, this is the button that we have created. So components can be displayed together, can be together, or they can be displayed separately, can be added separately. But in typical React applications, we usually use components with in a big component, and we display smaller components inside that big component. In our application here, we have this app as the biggest component, and inside it we have many tags, and among these tags we have the button component, which displays this button. We have created a button component. let's add some styles to it. How can we add styles to a component in React? In order to do that, we use a keyword called class name, camel case, not just class, because the class keyword is already reserved by JavaScript. Therefore, we need to use the class name. And then we pass the name of the class that we want to use. I'm gonna create a class called btn. And where should we create this class? This class can be created in the app.css, because here we imported the app.css, which includes all of our CSS code. So in the app.css, I'm going to create a class here called .btn, and I'm going to add my styles. Suppose that I want to give this button a background color of blue and a text color white, and also some padding of 5px, also font weight, bold, and also font size 15, and that's it. Let me now save and go to the browser and refresh. As you can see, now I have this button styled very well, custom button, and it has this background color blue, and the color is white, the text color is white. I can also add margin 5px, and this is going to add margins to the button. As you can see now, there is some space between this button and the learn React word here. I can add 15 instead of 5 to show you that I can increase the padding, and it works. So if you want to add styles to a component in React, you have to use the keyword, the class name keyword, and then equals to the class that you want to pass, and then you create the class in the app.css. And by the way, you can here give it more than one class. So for example, you can here say button and then space and create another class, maybe another class that has something to do with, let's say, the border. We can say here border underscore button, and in the app.css I can create here a class called btn underscore border underscore btn, and I can here border radius, let's say 25%, and let me now save. And in the browser, you'll find that now it has this shape. It's a little bit different. So this is how you can create more than class and also pass it and apply it to an element or a component in a React application. So now that we know how to create a custom component in a React application, I'm going to introduce you to one of the most important concepts in React, which is event handling. In any web application, it's very important to understand and know how to create and handle events, especially events that can be applied to buttons, because users will probably click on buttons and you want to capture that and do something depending upon that click. So in vanilla JavaScript, we used to use the onClick keyword, but this is no longer going to work in a React application. Instead, we need to use onClick, but with a capital C. This is how it works in React application. And then equals to curly braces, and inside that curly braces, we need to pass the function that we want to call if the user clicks on the button. So I'm going to create a function here, var, and then click button equals to an arrow function. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just display an alert that says button clicked. And we need to call this function, And lastly, we need to pass this function, click button, to the onClick event. So here, click button, and that's it. Let me save and show you the difference in the browser. If I refresh, and then I'm going to click on the button, custom button, and as you can see, an alert will pop up, clicked or button clicked. So this is how you can add event um, handler to buttons in React application. So if you have any questions about this tutorial or other tutorials, let me know and type that in the comment section below. And also check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. You'll find the link in the description below. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Most. Today I'm going to continue working on this React application, and I'm going to teach you a very important concept that you need to know about React applications. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And by the way, guys, I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. You'll find the link in the description below, and you can download the book immediately. So let's get started. First of all, this React application, we have this app, and the concept that I'm gonna teach you today is the props. Any React component has what's called properties. You can pass properties to React components. So first of all, in order to pass properties, we need to create a component. And to make things a little bit real, let's create a real component that we might need to use. For example, I'm going to here create a new file called user component, user.js. And this user.js will have a code similar to the app.js. So I'm going to copy the code from the app.js, and I'm going to paste it in the user.js. And obviously, we need to change the function here to user, and also the export, we need to export to the user instead of the app. And then inside the return, we need to return a specific code depending upon what this user component is going to do, and it's going to display. This user component is going to display the user information. So it's going to take user information as a property, and then it's going to display them here. How can we use properties in React? First of all, in the index.js, let's use this user.js component. Instead of this app, I'm going to use the user, and of course we need to import it. So I'm going to import it here, import, and then user from this directory, and then user. That's it. But if now I save, nothing is going to be displayed in the browser. If you open your browser, nothing will be displayed here because this component is empty. We can here add h1, and we can say here this is the user component. And if I save and go to the browser, you'll find that we have this is the user component. But we want to display user information such as the name, the email, maybe the car or the job or the salary, things like that. How can we pass information to this component? Well, we pass information through what's called the properties. So you can create properties for this component by typing them here as if they were attributes. So here, suppose that we want this user to have a name property, name. We can here type name and then equals to the name of that user. Let me just type my name. And it can also have something else such as email, or let's say website. commonCode.com, and then after we pass these values using the properties, we can receive them in the component by receiving them through the argument here or parameter called props, and then in the component HTML we can display them. We can here say h2, and then using curly braces we can access the props dot name, and we can create another h2 here with props dot email or website, because we have created email, we have created name and website, and here we received those two, the email and the password, through the props. Now if I save and go to the browser, you'll find that I have here my name, and here we have a problem. It should be website, and now you'll find my name and my website displayed. So this is a very important concept in React, which is the properties. You can create properties to a component and pass the data through these properties and receive them and display them. And of course, you can do other things to them. You can do some calculations. You shouldn't just display them. You can do other things to these things, to the properties. But you need to know that properties cannot be changed. So you can't change properties once you have created them. Once you have passed these properties, you can't change them. You can use them to append. You can, if they are strings, you can append them to other strings, but you can't change their values. But this is how it works, and this is how you can create properties and how you can receive them and display them to the user. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Most. Today I'm gonna teach you how you can use class instead of a function to create a React component. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video, and also check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. The book is totally for free. You can download it in the link in the description below. So let's get started. First of all, here we have a function component, and instead of using a function, I'm going to be using a class to represent our component, because classes are more flexible and easy to use and easy to create functions or methods inside them than using the function syntax. So we can, instead of displaying the instead of creating the React component this way, we can remove this function and use the class syntax, class, and then the name of the class is going to be user. Nothing is different here, but we need to extends, and then react.component, and of course we need to remove this props. And in order to access the props, we should have a constructor. So here I'm going to create a constructor, and then I'm going to pass the props, and then inside the props I'm going to have the super, which is also going to take the props, and that's it. In the return, we can't return, we can't use the return without a method. Therefore, here we should have a method called render. And this is a built-in function or method in React, which is going to be called once you create this component. Is going to be called automatically. This function and return, it's going to return this HTML. And now if I save and head on over to the browser, you'll find that we have an error. Why? Because here the props, in order to access the props, we need to use this dot props, because now we are in a class, and To access anything that's inside the class, we need to use the this keyword, this.props.website and this.props.name. Now in the browser, you will find that nothing has changed. Even though we have changed the syntax here, we are now using a class instead of a function, but the result is the same. But the difference for us as developers is that working with classes is much easier and better, and I'm going to show you that later. But for now, you need to know how to create a component using a class. All you need to do is just to create a class with the name of the component that you want, and then extend the React component, and then we have the constructor and the render. And then you just need to export this component, and in other components or in other files you can import the user. You can import the user and display information. And you can even create more props. For example, here car equals to I don't know, let's say Lexus, and then in the user I can accept this or receive this car by using h2, and inside this h2 we can use this dot props dot car, and now in the browser you'll find the car displayed here. As you can see, the car is displayed here. So this is how you can transform your code from a function to a class, and it's gonna display the same exact code in the browser. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Most. Today I'm gonna show you how you can create many components. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. By the way, guys, I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. You can download the book immediately. You will find the link in the description below if you want to make money online coding. So let's get started. First of all, in the index.js, we only have one component, but we can create as many components as we want as long as we have all of them inside a parent component. So here the parent component is react.strict_mode. You can use another component if you wish, and you can even add all of your components inside another div here, and you can pass this user inside this div here, and you can create more than one user. You aren't only restricted to creating only one component. You can create you can create many components of the same class. So here 2 and then 3, and if I save and go to the browser, you will find that we have now 1 and then 2 and then 3 components. So this is very important. You can create as many components as you want. You are not restricted to create only one component, and each component might have different properties. For example, the name here can be different. So here, instead of my name, you can here say Mark, and website something else, example.com, and here you can say Mercedes. And in the browser, you'll find that values are different. As you can see, values here are different, but the component is the same. So you can pass different data, which is awesome, using the properties. And also the properties can be empty for a certain component. Maybe you want to create a component with no properties. There's no problem with that. You can remove all of the properties and save, and it's going to display here. It's going to display a component, but there are nothing here because we didn't pass any properties. You can also you can display only one or pass only one attribute or one property. For example, maybe only you want to pass the website, and then equals to e.com, and in the browser you'll find that we have here e.com. So there is no restriction about how many properties you can pass to a component. and you are allowed to leave some properties empty. There is no problem with that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Most. Today I'm going to introduce you to a new concept in React, which is called the state. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And also check the description below because they have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. You can download that book immediately and you can read it immediately if you really want to make money online coding. So let's get started. Earlier, I have told you that properties can only be read. They can only be created, but they cannot be changed. Once you have passed the name and the website and the car here, you can't change them. What if we want to change them? How can we change them? If you want to change a property, you should actually use something else called a state. Instead of using a property, you should use a state for that element or that piece of data that you want to change its value. For example, the car, the name obviously is never going to be changed probably. The website might be changed, but might be changed in the future. The car also can be changed in the future. Therefore, if you want the car to be changed, instead of using a property to pass the car, you can use a state. How can you create a state for the car? You can go to the component itself, and in the constructor, you can access something called state by using this dot state and then equals to an object. And inside that object, you can add as many properties as you want, as many attributes as you want. For example, here the car can be, let's say, Lexus. And to access this car, instead of using props, you can use this dot state dot car. So here state dot car, and it's going to display here. If I refresh in the browser, it's going to display Lexus, the same as before. But the difference is that the state can be changed. So in order to change this value, you can use a built-in function called component did mount, and this function is called automatically after the constructor. You can here change the state by using this dot set state, and then you pass the value that you want to change. So you want to change the car to something else. So car Mercedes. Now in the browser, you'll find that the car has been changed, and it actually starts with this car with Lexus, and then it it will be changed to Mercedes, but the time it takes to change the value is so fast, therefore you can't see the change, but it starts with Lexus. And you can change the value later by using a click button, a click event. You can change the value. But the point is that if you want a piece of data to be changed throughout your application, you need to use the state. You need to use the state. But if you want the value to never be changed, you should use properties. As you can see, the name of the websites or the website are properties, whereas the car is a state. So this is the difference between the state and the property or properties. Properties are read only, whereas states can be changed.